For installation teaching, prepare levels, squares, pencils, scissors, tape measure hooks and other tools to clean the ground and keep the ground clean. Use a level to measure the flatness of the ground. The difference in ground height should be within 2 millimeters. Here is a suggestion for the paving environment. I suggest you take a look. Reserve the wedges needed for expansion joints. Unpack the package and take out the floor. Place wedges on the wall and reserve 8 -10 millimeters expansion joints. The first piece of floor is close to the wedge along the edge of the wall, and then the short side tenon of the second piece is inserted into the short side groove of the first piece, and the installation and extension are carried out in sequence. When laying to the opposite wall, follow the rest of the installation in this line. The length cuts and divides the floor, and the floor to be cut is cut against the floor groove that has been paved. After cutting, the floor is turned 180 degrees and then paved. One part is installed in the row, and the other part is installed at the beginning of the second row. If the length of the remaining part of the previous row is less than 20 centimeters, the next row should cut half a piece of floor or use a complete floor to make sure that it is an I-shaped pavement, and then install the next piece of floor, and place the B-board at the position close to the C-plate. Insert the tenon on the short side of the B-plate into the groove of the A-plate. Lock it and lay it flat. Lift the outside of the A-plate and the B-plate slightly, and form an angle of 20 to 45 degrees with the ground, and place the B-plate. Push the plate slightly toward the direction of C-plate to lock it tightly, and put A and B plates flat to complete the installation. What needs to be emphasized here is to ensure that the ground is paved in an I shape instead of a line, and so on, and install it row by row to complete the paving of the remaining floor. When installing to the wall or corner, if the paving surface and the floor are required, if the shape and size are not suitable, it should be cut according to the shape of the paving surface and the floor before installation. L-shaped corner closing edge. First, place a wedge at the corner. Take the floor to be paved and place it parallel to the paved floor. One side is close to the wedge on the edge of the L-shaped corner, and use a square to lean against the floor to be paved. Draw a line against the wedge on the other side of the wall. Then use the same method to draw a line on the other right-angled side. Use a utility knife and a square to cut along the line. Use an electric drill to drill a hole at the intersection of the two lines, and then break the floor along the line ready to pave. Close the edge of the U-shaped corner. Now place a wedge at the corner. Take the floor to be paved. Place it at the position where the floor will be paved. Use one side of the square against the floor to be paved, and draw a line against the wedge on the other side of the square. Use the same method to determine the position and width of the U-shaped corner. Then use a ruler to measure the distance from the paved floor to the wedge on the wall and draw a line. Use a utility knife and a square to cut along the line, and use an electric drill to drill a hole at the intersection of the two lines, and then break the floor along the line to pave. When closing the edge of the floor, if it is difficult to operate with both hands, you can use a pullback hook. First, insert the tenon of the floor into the groove at an angle. Pull back with a little force to complete the installation. After the floor is paved, remove all the wedges on the wall. Install the baseboard on the wall of the room, and apply nail-free adhesive on the reverse side of the baseboard to the wall. For large area floor paving, when the length or width of the pavement exceeds 8 meters, it is necessary to reserve 8-10 millimeters expansion joints for partitions and install edge strips. There are various types of beading, trimmings and skirtings such as wood, composite and metal on the market, and you can choose according to your own preferences. In order to better protect the floor surface, the floor can be cleaned after the floor paving is completed, and floor wax can be applied as a protective layer.